Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Sorry it's been a while since I last posted, but it's NBA Finals time, and it's time to go over my NBA Finals prediction. Now here's the thing, I will not be shocked if the Nuggets win, and I would not be shocked if the Heat won. Let's look at the things going for the Nuggets and things going for the Heat, and let's see who has the advantage, because that's how I'm going to decide who's going to win the NBA Finals. So head coach. Both head coaches are good, but in this scenario, I'm going to take Miami's head coach. Best player, Nikola Jokic, Jimmy Butler. I mean, they're both, they're both, on a similar level, so it's hard to say which one has the edge. But if I had to pick one, it would be Nikola Jokic. And then if you go second best player, Jamal Murray or Bam Adebayo. Maybe it might be Caleb Martin again this series. Who knows? But Bam Adebayo's the All-Star, so let's say him. Go Jamal Murray. And then the third best player for the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. versus Caleb Martin. I mean, I would say they're both it's almost a tie, but Caleb Martin's hot right now, so go Caleb Martin. And then you go down the roster, and I just like the Nuggets players more. Now, we'll say the Heat, you may not think about this, but especially with Tyler Hero going to be coming back at some point in the series, the Heat have a more deeper bench, or they're willing to play more guys off the bench, because the Nuggets, as you saw against the Lakers, it was basically a six-man rotation. It's like, I feel like that's going to be hard to make that work in this finals. I feel like they're going to need to rely more on their bench. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Now, a home court advantage, that's obviously going to go to Denver with the altitude there. Not just having, more games at home than Miami, but again, I feel like that altitude is a big difference, because Miami, they play such physical, style, physical defense, there's, hustle, all that, it's all good and stuff, but to do that in elevation, it's going to be very hard to maintain. So in conclusion, I think that the Nuggets are going to win their first ever NBA championship. As far as how long the series will go, my prediction is that it's going to be 6 games. But again, I would not be surprised if it goes a full 7 games. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat somehow pull off the upset, because they've been doing the unthinkable this whole playoffs. So I'm not going to doubt them at this point. But I'm going to go with the Nuggets to win all. Again, I got Nuggets in 6. Also, I wanted to go over the updated head coaching hires in the NBA to kind of get my thoughts on them. So Ime Udoka was a while back, got hired at the Rockets very early on. And I love that hire for the Rockets. But the problem is Ime Udoka has a lot of things he has to clean up there. He has to decide, okay, which players are worth keeping. And basically the culture has just been so bad, he has to rechange the culture as well. So I feel like it's a good hire, but you won't see immediate success. It'll take a while for them to find success. Then you got Adrian Griffin, who got hired by the Milwaukee Bucks. He was the lead assistant for the Toronto Raptors and Nick Nurse. So I thought this hire was it caught me off guard, because I thought, okay, the Bucks get rid of a coach who's won a championship. I would assume they would grab a coach who's won an NBA championship as a head coach, or at least been in the finals. But it's like, nope, they go with an assistant here. And apparently Giannis was the one who really wanted Griffin. So again, listening to star players not always going to work out, but we'll see if Adrian Griffin can coach. I'm just kind of wait and see on him, because again, I don't know much about him. 76ers, they hired Nick Nurse. I feel like this is a very good hire, because I feel like, Doc Rivers, while he's a good coach, he did the best he could, but he still couldn't get over that second round hump. I feel like Nick Nurse can potentially get the most out of Joel Embiid, and I feel like he will elevate Tyrese Maxey even more, like he elevated Fran VanVleet a lot. And speaking of Fran VanVleet, because he got hired here, there's rumors that maybe Fran VanVleet wants to follow Nick Nurse to Philly. So if you have a Maxey VanVleet combo, and then Embiid as your center, and you basically keep all your role players. I mean, let's assume Harden's gone at this point, but you keep everyone else, and maybe with Harden being gone, maybe you add one more role player or something. It's like, I feel like maybe that could potentially get it done. Assuming Fran VanVleet comes over there and Maxey elevates even more to an all-star caliber type of status. I feel like that could work out for Nick Nurse there. Now, we win a championship? Not sure. But I feel like he can definitely at least, hopefully make at least the conference finals, which hasn't been done for them in a while. Monty Williams gets hired by the Pistons last night, and that caught me off guard because I thought, okay, if Monty Williams could coach again, he would want to coach a contender, but it's like, nope, he's fine with. I mean, he's fine with the money because he's getting paid to be the highest paid head coach. So I feel like, again, this is like Ime Udoka situation where I feel like he'll do good there, but it won't be smooth sailing to start off. It's going to be a little bit bumpy, figuring out, okay, which players are worth keeping, fix the culture, stuff like that. The Suns have not hired anyone yet, but from what I heard, they're down to Kevin Young, assistant, under Monty Williams to promote within. I mean, I doubt that's going to happen because if you're going to move off a coach like Monty Williams, I think the new owner wants a coach that's proven. That's why he would prefer to have Tyronn Lue, but it looks like Tyronn Lue's not going to quit the Clippers, so that's not an option. So it's basically between Doc Rivers and Frank Vogel is who they're choosing from. Now, it's hard to say which one to choose. I mean, the problem is, like, if you want, like, a culture reboot, if you want to, like, elevate players that need to be elevated, then that's Doc Rivers. But at this point, you don't need all that. You just need, okay, let's get over the hump, win it now. Well, I mean, I know Doc Rivers just won a top four, but he hasn't done much since 2010s as far as getting the finals on. So it's been a while. So I feel like maybe that's not the direction to go. I mean, it would be fine if it was the direction, but maybe not. And then with Frank Vogel, I feel like the reason he got fired with the Lakers is because, AD and LeBron had a bunch of injuries, but then he was basically the fallout guy for the whole Russell Westbrook not working situation. When now it looks like, okay, he looks like he knew what he was doing because, Darvin Ham couldn't get Russell Westbrook to work either to a degree, and that's why Westbrook had to get shipped out the trade deadline. And I feel like the Suns, they're going to be good offensively because that's who they are, but they could use some good defense, and Vogel is a better defensive coach. So I feel like if I were them, I predict the Suns pick that one out of those options, but we'll see. And then with the Raptors, I have no idea which direction they're going to go here because it's pretty hard to get a coach to come there because, A, you have to live in Canada, B, free agents are not going to want to play there. High-level free agents are not going to want to play there. And C, you're in the midst with Fran VanVleet out the door. It's like you might become in a full rebuild situation. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what the Raptors do. I mean, I know they interviewed Steve Nash, who's a Canadian, but it's like, just because he's a Canadian doesn't mean you should hire them. So it's like, and then I know they interviewed ESPN former NBA player JJ Redick. It's like, I don't think, will JJ be willing to live in Toronto? I don't know. As long as some other candidates as well. So we'll kind of see what they do there. And for my next podcast, it won't come out towards the end of June, but for my next podcast, I'll be going over my NBA mock draft because now with summer, now it's time, to think, okay, how's the NBA draft going to go at the end of June? And then once the NBA draft's over, okay, what does NBA free agency look like? And then after that, then it's just a bunch of nothingness until football. But yeah, like I said, in my next podcast, I'll go over my draft. And I guess real quick, don't forget to, if you're a football fan, to continue watching the USFL. We're getting to the point where now it's just a couple weeks left of the regular season before playoffs happen. And it's one of those things where a lot of teams can make it. Like, there's no super, super bad team and no super, super good team this year. It's like anyone can win. So it's more interesting than it was last year. Let's put it that way. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell about me. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.